Hey folks, Lord Aster here. We are doing a different video today. We are going to be processing Messier 101 using LCO data. So what we're doing is we're working with we're not working with LRGB, we're working with our RGB that we took a couple of nights ago, and we basically found a process that works with the LCO scopes using City Astro Suite, and so these frames are of high quality. These frames are just amazing just to take a look at. As you can see here, the image for the first frame looks really good. You got the sharp stars, you got a sharp core, you can see the HA, and this it's just an amazing image overall. Now, basically what Continuum Subtraction does, so basically Continuum Subtraction is a digital image processing technique to isolate emission line signals, so basically for hydrogen alpha or oxygen 3. So basically you would take it from broadband light sources such as like galactic dust and stellar nurseries and such like that in galaxy cores, and basically process it out. So in this process, we're going to go over some of the basic techniques of continuum subtraction using City Astro Suite, and we are also going to be doing just the regular broadband data. So once we get the data here, you're going to go into data, you're going to go to view on archive, and then once you go on view on archive, you're going to select your reduction level. You're going to want to select bonsai, and then you're going to go to 100 rows, and then you're going to select every single frame that you have. Once you download it, all the frames will be in a zip folder, and you don't need to worry about organizing your frames because City Astro Suite already has that stacking feature in there, and I think that's really nice. So once we have these frames in, we're going to go open M101 LCO data. And as you see, all the frames are there. You can just select them, run them through the stacking suite, and you're left with pretty much a good amount of data and just to stack. And so sorry if I sound out of it. I have a slight fever. I have been feeling like crap since I woke up earlier. I'm not sure what's going on with me, but I haven't been feeling good. So we're gonna open up City Astro Suite Pro. For this update, we're gonna click yes. And the nice thing about City Astro Suite is that you can just immediately install the update, and it's an automatic update. You don't need to go back into the GitHub. You don't need to re-download it. It's an amazing tool for basic astrophotography. Highly recommend this program. And once we're in, we're gonna go open up our frames. So what we're gonna do is we are going to use the RGB combination. Wow, that was hard to say. Load individual files, and we're gonna select all our frames. So we're gonna load the red, the green, and the blue. So we're gonna go into master light frames that we have here. For some odd reason, when I did the frames or the stacking and the whole thing, it read it as Messier 100. I don't know if it was a bug, but City Astro, if you're watching, I'm pretty sure that was a bug. However, it could have been me because I probably chose that stacking directory by accident when I was doing M101. So now that we got that, we got that, and then we're gonna load the H alpha frames. So we're gonna click on H alpha. Alright, now that we got that, we're gonna rename our frames. So you're gonna do F2 on this one, and I'm gonna call it HA. And this is gonna be RGB combo, we'll call it. So basically you just F2, you can rename your frames that way. So it's a nice tool that he added. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna remove pedestal first. And then after we remove pedestal on both frames, we are going to do a stat stretch on both of them. So we're going to go here, do a stat stretch. For the RGB channel, you don't want the target median to be this low, so what I would suggest is go for just a normal boost, and then preview. And once that's done, we're going to click apply. And now that that's done, look at that color. That is amazing. Also, the stars look really, really sharp. I love the setup that LCO is running. We took these frames in McDonald, Texas, or McDonald Observatory, and we got about 8 hours worth of data. And I thought it was a nice night for it because we had no moon, and it was a perfect night to shoot both RGB and HA combo. So yeah, it was a perfect night. And we're gonna run stat stretch on the HA. Now for this one, we're gonna bring the target median down to 0.8. The reason for that is because the noise and the HA signal is a little bit more than the broadband data, so we're just going to use just a regular target median of that to counteract the RGB. Now what we're going to do for the RGB is first things first, we're going to stellar align. So we're going to go to star stuff and stellar alignment. Actually no, scratch stellar alignment. We're going to go to RGB align. And we're going to click Affine, and we're going to go to about a sigma of 12. Once that is done, we're going to click Align. And now that that's done, you're going to be greeted with an RGB aligned image, so we can basically take off the RGB combo and scratch that. So we can just take this off and just work with the RGB aligned. Now that we have the RGB aligned frame, we're going to run a Cosmic Clarity denoise and sharpen tool. The reason why we're going to do it first is because once we take off all the stars and everything, it's going to preserve the detail and stuff like that, so it's going to be easier. As you can see, we got Elon Musk's Starlink satellites in this image. Yuck. Actually, first things first, before we do the Cosmic Clarity, we're going to run an aberrations corrector, so we're going to do the aberration corrector for the RGB aligned frames. Now the aberrations have been corrected, we are going to run the Cosmic Clarity denoise. So we're going to do Cosmic Clarity yoink and denoise. Color denoise, I'm going to bring that up to about a 0.6 and leave everything the rest as default. So we're going to click execute. Alright, now that we got that, what we're going to do now is we're going to run a sharpening tool on this. We're not going to do it now. We're going to do it while we're working on the core, and we're going to do the exact same thing for the HA frame. So we'll go over here, denoise, and 0.6, and run. Going back in my history here for the History Explorer, I noticed that I screwed something up here. So we're going to actually remove the Cosmic Clarity denoise, and then also remove the Cosmic Clarity denoise here, and we're going to run a white balance for the RGB aligned. And now that that's been applied, we're going to remove pedestal once again. And there we go. Now that we got the pedestal removed, we're going to run a linear fit, because I noticed that the blue was a little bit overpowering, so we're going to go linear fit. So we're going to match the blue, and it gives us a pretty neutral background, and it's an overall pretty good core. Then we're going to run curves and kind of adjust how we see the image. So for the curves, first things first, we're going to correct a little bit of the blue. Stars are looking pretty sharp, and the rest of the data is looking pretty good. I'm going to do the same thing for the saturation. There we go, and then once we did that, we're going to run a Raxburg gradient removal to remove the hue here. We're going to go 0.5. Alright, now that that's taken care of, stars to be removed. So what we're going to do is, first off, I'm noticing that some of the saturation looks like it's a little underwhelmed, but also looks pretty good so far. I think we're going to keep it as this. We're going to go to star removal, star net, and we're going to remove these stars for the RGB aligned. Okay, now that the HA stars and the RGB stars are gone, we can now focus working on the core of the galaxy. So what we're going to do is we're going to figure out what the best continuum subtraction would look like. So for this particular case, what I found was that once we merged these two frames starless, what we're going to do is we're going to go to Tools, Continuum Subtraction, and we're going to click HA starless. So it's going to be HA. Then starless RGB aligned. Once we have that, we're going to remove the noise and auto stretch. We're going to click execute. Now that we have that, we're going to disengage the HA sub, and we're going to go with the HA continue sub. So this is going to be the continuum subtraction, which we're going to be subtracting to the RGB. So now that we have that, what we're going to do is we're going to go into Tools, and we're going to go into narrowband integration. Take the HA starless continuous sub, and we're going to select the RGB aligned. Now it's going to show this prominent core, and what we're going to do is we're going to adjust the levels just a slight tad to remove that dynamic red noise that's surrounding the area. It's going to be a narrowband integration frame. So once we're done with this, we can close out of this. RGB aligned and B iteration tool. Now that we got that, the signal looks pretty clean. Looks really good. Now what we're going to do is we're going to run some cosmic clarity, denoise, and sharpen tools, and we're going to also do the same thing once we re-input the frames again. So we're going to go ahead and run the curves, the cosmic clarity. Sorry guys, I'm fighting this, whatever the heck I have, so I don't know what's going on, so if I sound out of it, I apologize. So for the non-stellar amount, we're going to bump it up to 0.7, and color denoise, we're going to bump it up to 0.75, so it matches with the non-stellar sharpening. Alright, now that we got the denoise done with the RGB aligned integration, what we're going to do is we're going to kind of adjust a little bit of some curves here, because I noticed that something is interesting, and I'm thinking it's dust lanes. It does appear to be dust lanes, because, oh yeah, look at that, dust lanes. Oh, that's really cool. I don't think I brought this up before when I did the first try of continuum subtraction. That's cool, actually. Okay, so we're going to, after the cosmic clarity, we're going to do a little bit of curves adjustment, see if we could bring out anything, or if it's good just the way it is. I honestly feel that the core is a little bit more bluer and purplish, and I think it needs to be brought down more, so I'm going to go to curves, and I'm probably going to adjust the blue, either that or no, I should probably go with green. So adjust green a little bit here. So we're going to go down here. Yep, like that, and just like that, boom, it's gone. So it looks a lot more natural now, and it's a little bit more neutral, and it looks a lot better than it previously was. So I think we're good to go ahead and adjust our stars a little bit. One thing I am still noticing is that there's a little bit of a hue from the leftover remnants of the integration from the narrowband process, but we can always do something different with it. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to Tools, we're going to go to NB RGB stars, narrowband RGB stars basically help with the so you don't have to input both of the stars together with the star removal tool. So basically once we do that, I'm going to preview combine, and we're going to check out seeing how the stars look. And right away I am noticing some interesting factors. For example, there's a little bit of a stretch that I don't need, and the saturation is a little bit overwhelming, so I'm going to bring it down a little bit. And that's there. Looks a little bit better. Yeah, okay, so we'll push to a new final view and exit out of this, and also minimize that. Alright, so now that we've got the stars, go here, and we're going to integrate the stars into the image. So what we're going to do is we're going to run the StarNet once again. As you can see, it already selected the NB RGB stars, which is really nice. And we're going to go to the RGB align NB integration. So right away, I'm already noticing some problems with the stars. So I think there actually might be something with the hydrogen alpha that was not previously explored. So I might have to take a look at that and see what's going on with the RGB aligned. But so far it looks like, yeah, it looks pretty good so far. But there's slight reddening in some of the galaxies that look like the HA Continuum subtraction, or the subtracted sub is a little bit too much. One way we can test to see if that's the case is we go back into the HA Continuum sub and figure out if that sub is the bad frame that we need to adjust the curves on. So for this particular case, I see that these stars over here to the end there seem to have a problem with the stellar alignment that we did earlier, so I'm not sure what this is about. And it looks like the HA is a little bit overpowered right there. Yeah, it looks like we had some nasty aberrations. I think it had something to do with the aberrations removal, or the aberration correction. So I think once we run another set of aberration corrections, it should hopefully fix it. First things first, I am noticing that the background is slightly darker than the previous. So what we're going to do is we're going to add a curves adjustment. We're going to basically darken the background a little bit and give it a more natural look here. And like that. Significant problems with the core, because this looks a little bit better. For example, this one's a lot more prominent. I think there is a problem with the color calibration, so I think we need to bring down a little bit of the grain. So either we need to bring up the grain or we need to bring it down. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to bring it up and try to remove a little bit of that magenta. Yeah, I'd say it's somewhere around there, because before it looks like it was pretty nasty with that hue. But it looks a lot better now that you can kind of see a little bit of the core. But I think what's going on is we need to run a white balance and kind of fix that. And it's looking a little better. I think it had to have been something with the Continuum subtracted sub, but it is looking better. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to run another cosmic clarity denoise, and I am going to actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to do an aberrations removal, aberrations correction. So with this in mind, I think we're going to run a crack spurt removal, and we're going to go 0.3. See if that fixes anything. I'm pretty sure it might. Oh yeah, there we go. That looks better. Oh yeah, that looks way better. Way better. So that was the problem. I needed to run a denoise on the, or not denoise, the gradient removal. There was some sort of gradient causing most of the stuff to appear. Now that we got that, we are going to run a crop, take off auto stretch, and we're going to just create basic crop here. Yeah, I think that should do it. Apply crop. And there we have it. So this is the final image of M101 with Continuum Subtraction. If you found this tutorial to be useful in any way, feel free to consider subscribing as it does help out the channel. And if you want to support me even more, feel free to buy me a coffee or buy me a beer or anything like that with the link down below. And if you want to participate in some imaging projects on SETI with using SETI Astro Suite, feel free to join the Discord in SETI Astro Suite. And we do have a channel that is going to be created soon for those imaging projects. So until then, I will see you guys later.